Advanced, so powerful, that it shifts the entire balance of power in the cosmos. Nations are scrambling, rival spacefaring civilizations, if they exist, might be watching with newfound concern. But what is this weapon? How does it work? And, more importantly, what does it mean for the future of warfare beyond Earth? For decades, humanity has looked to the stars not just with a sense of wonder, but with a growing realization that space is the next battlefield. From satellite warfare to missile defense systems, the world's superpowers have been racing to develop technologies that could dominate this new frontier. But now, Earth's military has crossed a threshold, unveiling a weapon so advanced that it could make traditional warfare obsolete. What you're about to hear isn't science fiction. It's a glimpse into the next era of war. At the heart of this breakthrough lies one simple truth: whoever controls space controls Earth. This philosophy has driven military leaders and defense agencies for decades, pushing them to develop technologies that could protect or dominate the planet from orbit. Think about it. Everything from communication networks to global navigation depends on space infrastructure. In the event of a full-scale conflict, the ability to control or disable those systems could mean the difference between victory and defeat. And now, Earth's military may have just unveiled a weapon that ensures no enemy can ever challenge its supremacy again. So, what is this so-called ultimate space weapon? Sources suggest it's a next-generation orbital platform, an autonomous, AI-controlled weapon system capable of neutralizing threats anywhere on the planet in mere minutes. Unlike traditional missile defense systems, this isn't just about intercepting incoming attacks. This platform is designed for instant global retaliation, meaning any nation, organization, or force that dares to challenge Earth's military dominance could face immediate consequences. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. This weapon isn't just about speed, it's about precision, intelligence, and overwhelming force. Reports indicate that the system, codenamed Project Dominion, operates using kinetic bombardment technology. Imagine massive tungsten rods, each the size of a telephone pole, stored in orbit and deployed at hypersonic speeds toward ground targets. Dubbed rods from God, these weapons don't rely on explosives. Instead, they use pure kinetic energy to create destruction equivalent to a nuclear blast. Without the radiation, a single strike could penetrate underground bunkers, disable entire military installations, or wipe out enemy forces with devastating accuracy. And the most terrifying part? There is no defense against it. Think about it. Traditional missile defense systems can intercept nuclear warheads. Aircraft can be shot down. But a hypervelocity projectile, falling from orbit at over Mach 10, is virtually impossible to stop. It arrives in minutes, giving the enemy no time to react. And because it doesn't use traditional explosives, it bypasses nuclear treaties and escalation risks. This is a weapon designed for absolute dominance, and Earth's military just made it operational. But Project Dominion isn't just about kinetic strikes. Insiders suggest that the platform also integrates directed energy weapons, high-powered lasers capable of disabling enemy satellites, blinding, reconnaissance systems, and even intercepting ballistic missiles mid-flight. In other words, this isn't just a space-based strike system. It's a full-spectrum orbital defense network, capable of monitoring, defending, and retaliating in real time. The implications are staggering. With this technology in place, Earth's military would have the ability to control any battlefield, on land, sea, air, and space. But here's the real question. How did we get here? What led to the creation of this weapon, and why is it being revealed now? The rise of orbital warfare. How Earth's military achieved the ultimate space weapon. The idea of space-based weaponry isn't new. In fact, the seeds of this technology were planted decades ago during the Cold War. Back then, the United States and the Soviet Union were locked in an arms race, each seeking new ways to outmatch the other. The concept of kinetic bombardment, dropping metal rods from orbit, was first proposed in classified military research, but at the time, the technology to make it practical simply didn't exist. The problem wasn't launching the weapons, it was controlling them with enough accuracy and speed to be effective. Fast forward to today, and the advancements in AI, hypersonic propulsion, and autonomous targeting have made this nightmare weapon a reality. But here's the shocking part. Experts believe Project Dominion isn't just a response to global tensions. It's been in development for years, hidden under the guise of peaceful space research. The same technology that allows commercial space companies to launch reusable rockets and deploy satellite constellations has secretly paved the way for a militarized orbital infrastructure. The turning point came with the increasing weaponization of space. Over the last decade, nations around the world have been testing anti-satellite weapons, electronic warfare tactics, and even cyber attacks on orbital infrastructure. In 2007, China shocked the world by destroying one of its own satellites with a missile, proving that Earth's space assets were vulnerable. Since then, military strategists have been quietly working on a countermeasure. And now, it's here. But who controls Project Dominion? Officially, it's a joint initiative between leading global powers, disguised under the banner of planetary defense and space security. However, leaked reports suggest that the real operational control lies within an elite division of the world's most technologically advanced militaries. This means that, in the event of a global conflict, cyber attack, or extraterrestrial threat, the decision to use Project Dominion would rest in the hands of a few top-ranking officials. And make no mistake, this isn't just about war. It's about absolute control. Whoever possesses this weapon controls the future of Earth. Imagine a world where no military action could occur without approval from those overseeing this system. Entire wars could be decided before they even begin. Governments, economies, and even civilian movements could be monitored and influenced in real time. But let's take it a step further. What if Project Dominion isn't just meant for use against human enemies? For years, scientists and government officials have hinted at the possibility of extraterrestrial contact. Leaked documents, declassified reports, and whistleblower testimonies suggest that space isn't as empty as we once believed. What if Earth's military has been developing this weapon not just to dominate other nations, but to prepare for something else? The sheer scale and secrecy surrounding this project raise serious questions. If this was merely another advancement in military technology, why go to such great lengths to conceal it? Why release only partial information to the public while keeping key capabilities classified? Some experts speculate that Project Dominion was rushed into deployment after an event, something that forced world leaders to accelerate its completion. Could it be that the world's governments know something we don't? And if so, what's coming? The hidden threat. Did something force Earth's military to unveil this weapon? For decades, conspiracy theorists, whistleblowers, and even former government officials have whispered about unexplained encounters in space. Pilots report objects moving at impossible speeds. Radar systems pick up anomalies defying physics, and secret military programs seem obsessed with something. Something they won't officially acknowledge. Now, with Project Dominion suddenly operational, one chilling possibility emerges. Was this weapon rushed into service because of a hidden threat? What if Earth's military didn't just develop this technology as a show of power, but out of necessity? Let's break it down. In recent years, global military spending on space defense has skyrocketed, with billions being funneled into classified programs. Meanwhile, high-ranking officials from the U.S. Department of Defense, former NASA engineers, and intelligence insiders have all hinted at something unusual. Reports of unidentified aerial phenomena, capable of speeds and maneuvers beyond anything human-made. Could it be that Earth's governments have detected something in deep space? Something that forced them to prepare for war? Here's where it gets even stranger. The timing of Project Dominion's public reveal coincides with an unexplained global surge in high-orbit activity. In the past 2 years alone, the number of satellites launched into space has increased by over 50%, many of them under government contracts with undisclosed missions. At the same time, military leaders have been unusually vocal about the need to protect Earth from emerging threats beyond our atmosphere. The question is, what exactly are they preparing for? Some believe that hidden within Project Dominion's classified systems is something far more advanced than kinetic bombardment or laser defenses. Leaked patents from leading defense contractors describe concepts that seem ripped from science fiction. Electromagnetic pulse generators, space-based particle beams, and even gravity-altering technology. Is it possible that Earth's military is preparing for a war that isn't just planetary, but interstellar? But here's the real problem. What if this weapon isn't enough? Even with AI-controlled targeting, hypersonic strikes, and advanced energy weapons, Earth is still just a Type 0 civilization on the Kardashev scale, a species still dependent on fossil fuels, barely scratching the surface of interplanetary travel. If an extraterrestrial force exists with superior technology, would even the most powerful human weapon stand a chance? Or is this just a desperate attempt to make a show of force, hoping that whoever is watching will think twice before making a move? And that leads us to an even more terrifying possibility. What if Earth's military already made contact? And what if the unveiling of Project Dominion isn't about offense, but deterrence? Think about it. No government would risk exposing its most powerful weapon unless it absolutely had to. Could this sudden reveal be Earth's way of sending a message to the cosmos? A warning that despite our technological limitations, we are armed and ready? But if that's the case, then the most chilling question remains: who or what is this warning for? A cosmic standoff? Did Earth's military just declare war on an unseen enemy? For centuries, humanity has looked up at the stars with wonder, asking the question, are we alone? But what if the answer has already been found, and it's something the world's leaders aren't ready to share? The unveiling of Project Dominion wasn't just another step in Earth's military evolution. It was a statement, a declaration that humanity is no longer just a planetary power, but a species prepared to defend itself on a cosmic scale. But here's the real question. Why now? What event, or discovery, forced Earth's military to rush this weapon into existence, the hidden race for space? Supremacy. While the public sees space as a peaceful domain for exploration, the reality is far darker. For decades, global superpowers have been silently weaponizing space, each trying to secure dominance before the next major conflict erupts. The U.S. Space Force, Russia's Aerospace Defense Forces, and China's Strategic Support Force have all been developing classified orbital technology, but Project Dominion changes everything. Unlike traditional weapons, which are bound by treaties and regulations, space-based systems exist in a legal gray area. No international law prohibits a nation from launching a kinetic bombardment platform, a directed energy weapon, or an orbital missile defense system. This means that Project Dominion isn't just a defensive measure. It's a first strike weapon, capable of hitting any target on Earth within minutes. But some experts believe that this weapon wasn't designed for earthly conflicts at all. Instead, it's a countermeasure, an attempt to prepare for an enemy that doesn't fight with conventional weapons. The strange surge in military space anomalies. Over the past decade, an increasing number of high-ranking officials have hinted at unexplained activity in space. Unusual radar signatures, high-speed objects moving against orbital physics, and surveillance footage capturing unidentified craft maneuvering at impossible speeds. Some of these incidents have even made their way into declassified military reports. Reports that explicitly state the following: these objects are not human-made. They demonstrate technology far beyond current capabilities. They appear to operate with intelligence and intent. If such reports are credible, then Earth's governments may have been tracking unknown entities for years. And if that's true, the development of Project Dominion suddenly makes perfect sense. Imagine sitting in a classified military briefing. Analysts present data, radar logs, satellite imagery, intercepted signals. The conclusion? Something is out there, and it's been monitoring us. Maybe it hasn't attacked. Maybe it's just watching. But history has shown that every civilization must prepare for the worst. And that brings us to the most terrifying possibility of all. Did Earth's military already have an encounter? The rumors of a secret space engagement. There have long been whispers of black-budget space programs operating beyond public knowledge. Classified missions that have sent human and robotic probes deeper into space than we're told. Some former insiders claim that at least one of these missions ended in direct contact, and not in the way we'd hope. Unverified reports suggest that in 2019, an unknown object was detected in high Earth orbit, moving against conventional physics. Attempts to communicate failed. When a military satellite approached to observe, the object vanished, only to reappear thousands of miles away within seconds. What happened next remains classified, but the most shocking claim is this: a secret confrontation took place in orbit. Did Earth's military attempt to challenge an unknown craft? Did they fire first? Or was something demonstrated to them? a display of power that left military leaders no choice but to accelerate their own weaponization of space. One thing is certain: shortly after this event, Project Dominion entered its final development phase. Government funding surged, classified contracts were signed at unprecedented speed, and key aerospace companies received billions in undisclosed investments. This suggests one of two things. Earth's leaders are preparing for first contact, whether peaceful or hostile. An unknown force already made its move, and Project Dominion is the counterstrike. Either way, the message is clear. Humanity is no longer waiting for an invitation to join the galactic stage. It has just announced its presence, with a weapon unlike anything seen before. But here's the problem. What if we just made a fatal mistake? Throughout history, civilizations that develop powerful new weapons often assume that power equals security. But what if Project Dominion has just escalated a conflict we don't even understand? What if, by unveiling this weapon, we've just broadcasted a message to the universe, one that says, we are ready for war? And if someone is listening, will they see this as an act of defense or an act of aggression? The silent war. Did Earth's military just trigger an interstellar arms race? For thousands of years, wars on Earth have followed a predictable pattern. An arms race begins, technology advances, and sooner or later, someone fires the first shot. But what if this time, the race isn't just between nations, but between species? The unveiling of Project Dominion wasn't just an announcement. It was a message, a warning. But here's the problem. When civilizations develop game-changing weapons, history shows us that conflict becomes inevitable. The Cold War, the nuclear arms race, and the rise of stealth technology, all of these breakthroughs led to a global struggle for dominance. But this time, the battlefield isn't Earth. It's the cosmos. The frightening reality of cosmic warfare. Most people think of space battles as scenes from sci-fi movies, laser cannons, dogfights, massive capital ships. But real space warfare? It's colder, more brutal, and far more terrifying. Unlike on Earth, where terrain and cover provide strategic advantages, space offers nowhere to hide. A hostile force can strike from millions of miles away, firing projectiles or energy weapons, at relativistic speeds, so fast that by the time an attack is detected, it's already too late. And here's where things get worse. Kinetic energy weapons in space are unstoppable. A simple tungsten rod, fired from an orbital platform at high velocity, would strike with the power of a nuclear explosion, without any radiation. If an alien force has mastered this kind of technology, Earth cities could be wiped out before anyone knew what was happening. If extraterrestrials possess directed energy weapons, human defenses are useless. While Earth's militaries are experimenting with laser systems, an advanced civilization could have perfected plasma beams, particle cannons, or gravitational weapons, far beyond anything humanity can counter. If they can manipulate space-time, Earth's defenses become irrelevant. Some scientists believe that an interstellar species wouldn't fight with physical weapons at all. They might use dimensional distortions, time-based attacks, or quantum disruptions, effectively bypassing any defense we could build. So, if Earth's military knew this was a possibility, why unveil Project Dominion at all? The possibility of a secret ultimatum. There's a theory floating around in classified circles, one that suggests humanity was given a choice. Some believe that contact has already happened, but under circumstances the public was never meant to know. Imagine this. An unknown presence arrives in our solar system. They don't attack. They don't communicate openly. Instead, they observe, watch, analyze. And then, in some secret meeting behind closed doors, they deliver a chilling ultimatum. Prove your strength, or prepare to surrender. It wouldn't be the first time in history a powerful force issued such a demand. In the days of ancient conquest, weaker civilizations were often given a choice: demonstrate military capability or be absorbed. If Earth's leaders were faced with this scenario, unveiling Project Dominion wouldn't be an act of aggression. It would be an act of survival. But there's an even darker theory. Did Earth's military just fall into a trap? What if this wasn't our decision at all? Think about it. An advanced species wouldn't need to conquer Earth with brute force. They wouldn't send an invasion fleet or start an interstellar war. They would manipulate us into making the first move. Here's how it could work. Step 1. Seed information, strange signals, unexplained anomalies, craft appearing on radar but never engaging. Let humanity discover them without giving away their full capability. Step 2. Create paranoia. A few leaked incidents, unexplained encounters with military aircraft, government insiders hinting at something out there. The result? Earth's military starts preparing for war without even being attacked. Step 3. Force a public display. If humanity thinks we're on the verge of conflict, we do what we've always done. We show strength. We unveil our most powerful weapons, thinking we're deterring an enemy, when in reality, we're just showing them exactly what we have. If this theory is true, then Earth's military just gave away its biggest secret. The very act of unveiling Project Dominion may have confirmed to an unknown force that we are no real threat, and now they have all the data they need. What happens next? Earth has just stepped onto the galactic stage, but we don't know the rules of the game. If Project Dominion was meant to scare off potential threats, we have to ask, did it work? Or did we just invite something far worse? And the most terrifying question of all, are we about to find out the first move? Did humanity just unknowingly declare war? There's an old saying in warfare, he who fires first loses. History has shown that the side that exposes its strategy too early often invites a counterstrike it cannot withstand. But what if humanity didn't fire a bullet? What if we did something even worse? By revealing Project Dominion, Earth's military may have made the first irreversible move in a game we don't even understand. But the real danger isn't the weapon itself. It's the message it sent. Because in the vastness of space, actions speak louder than words. The Watchers have they already responded? In the weeks following the announcement of Project Dominion, something unusual happened. Military-grade satellites reported anomalous readings, strange heat signatures, sudden power fluctuations, and objects appearing just beyond detection range. Some were dismissed as natural phenomena, asteroid reflections, solar flares, or signal interference. But a handful of classified reports told a different story. A deep space surveillance array detected a massive gravitational anomaly near the Kuiper Belt. Something moved, but no known object was recorded. An experimental orbital defense satellite in geostationary orbit went completely dark for 17 minutes. When it came back online, its internal logs showed unrecoverable data corruption. A top-secret aerospace test facility in the Nevada desert experienced electromagnetic pulses without any known source. The pulses matched an energy signature previously detected during unidentified aerial encounters. Individually, these events might mean nothing. But combined, they paint a chilling possibility. Project Dominion didn't go unnoticed. Something, or someone, is already watching. The danger of cosmic miscommunication. What if the real threat isn't invasion, but misinterpretation? Throughout history, misunderstandings between civilizations have led to disastrous conflicts. The Cold War nearly turned nuclear because of false radar readings. Entire wars have started over misread diplomatic messages. If Earth's military miscalculated how an advanced species perceives aggression, we could be on the brink of something catastrophic. Think about it. How would an interstellar civilization interpret an emerging species suddenly constructing a planetary-scale weapon system? Would they see it as a precautionary measure? Or as a declaration of war? And what if, instead of preparing their own defense, they've already begun their counterstrike? Unseen war. The conflict we might already be losing. Here's the terrifying part. What if we've already been engaged in a war, and we don't even know it? If an advanced force operates beyond our comprehension, they wouldn't fight in ways we recognize. They wouldn't send fleets or troops. They wouldn't announce their presence. Instead, they would infiltrate, disrupt, and dismantle before we even realized what was happening. Imagine a war where key military satellites are subtly altered, causing small miscalculations in missile guidance systems. Global communication networks experience unexplained outages at critical moments. Human scientists working on next-generation technology suffer a sudden, coordinated string of unexplained accidents. If Earth's leaders truly believe that we are being watched, perhaps even tested, then Project Dominion wasn't just a weapon. It was a desperate signal. A way of saying, we know you're there. We're ready. But what if the response isn't an open attack, but systematic dismantling? What if, at this very moment, humanity is being strategically weakened in ways we can't even detect? The unthinkable possibility. Is Project Dominion already compromised? Here's the scariest thought of all. What if they're already inside? What if the unveiling of Project Dominion was exactly what an unknown force was waiting for? A moment for humanity to lay all its cards on the table, revealing our technology, our capabilities, and our weaknesses. And what if, right now, they've already begun the next phase of their plan? Because if an enemy can reach across space undetected, if they can manipulate systems without us even realizing it, then maybe the war is already over. Maybe we just haven't figured it out yet. And if that's true, then the real question isn't, how do we defend ourselves? It's, how long do we have left? The silent siege. Has Earth already been compromised? There's something deeply unsettling about warfare in space. It doesn't follow the same rules as battles on Earth. There are no front lines, no borders, no conventional invasions. The real danger isn't a fleet of warships appearing in orbit. It's an enemy that infiltrates silently, striking before we even realize we're at war. And that's exactly what might be happening right now. Project Dominion was meant to be a statement of power, but what if unveiling it wasn't an act of deterrence? What if it was an invitation? A signal that told an unknown force, now is the time to act. Because if they're already inside our systems, already manipulating our technology, then we might not be preparing for a war. We might already be losing one. The signs of an invisible invasion. What would an alien infiltration look like? Not the Hollywood version. Not giant motherships hovering over our cities. Not creatures storming through the streets. No, a real invasion. The kind that happens without a single shot being fired would be far more subtle. And some experts believe the signs are already here. The sudden blackouts in our surveillance network in the last year alone, classified, deep space monitoring stations have reported unexplained blackouts. Not mechanical failures, not solar interference, just complete system losses. Moments where our most advanced sensors, designed to detect even the smallest cosmic fluctuations, simply go blind. Then, just as suddenly as they fail, they come back online. No apparent damage, no traces of cyber attacks. But when engineers analyze the data, they find something even more disturbing. Gaps in recorded information. Moments of missing time, where no logs exist, as if something erased them. What could cause this? A natural event, a software glitch, or something intelligent? 2. The bizarre incidents in military research facilities. Then there are the incidents happening right here on Earth. In recent months, multiple high-security defense research labs have experienced what can only be described as impossible malfunctions. 1. Prototype railgun system, meant to be tested under controlled conditions, suddenly fired at full power without any human input. The investigation found no software errors. A classified AI system designed to predict space-based threats began outputting nonsense data, before suddenly going offline completely. When rebooted, all its stored predictions were gone. An underground weapons facility experienced an event so strange that it remains classified. The only leaked report states, personnel reported a temporary loss of equilibrium, as if gravity itself had been altered within the complex. Are these just coincidences, or are they tests, probes, a way for an unknown force to gauge how much control they can exert over our systems before they make their next move? The unexplained ghost signals. For decades, astronomers have picked up strange radio bursts from deep space. Some are natural, some are unexplained. But in the last few months, a disturbing pattern has emerged. A series of ultra-high-frequency bursts have been detected, far more structured than random cosmic noise, yet not matching any known natural phenomenon. Here's the terrifying part. The signals only appear when Earth's military satellites are conducting active scans of deep space. They contain repeating patterns, but no discernible message. Attempts to analyze them have resulted in corrupted data, as if the signals themselves interfere with our ability to decode them. What if these aren't messages? What if they're interference? A deliberate attempt to disrupt our ability to see what's out there? Because if someone, or something, doesn't want us to detect them, that means they're already close. The realization we may not be in control anymore. What happens when a civilization discovers it's not alone, but also not in charge of its own world anymore? If an advanced intelligence is already inside our networks, inside our defenses, inside our infrastructure, then Earth's military may not be unveiling weapons to fight a future war. They may be scrambling to regain control of a war that's already begun. But what happens when we push back? What happens if we try to take back control? Would an unseen force retaliate? Would they strike openly, or would they simply switch us off? Because if they've already infiltrated our technology, our communications, our defenses, then the real nightmare scenario isn't an invasion fleet descending from the sky. It's waking up one morning and realizing the war is over, and we lost. The turning point. Did humanity just make its last stand? If Earth's military has truly lost control, there's only one way to fight back: take control by force. But how do you fight an enemy you can't see? How do you battle an intelligence that doesn't send warships or soldiers, but instead invades through your own technology, your own systems, your own reality? Project Dominion wasn't just a weapon, it was a challenge. A final declaration that humanity wasn't going to be silently conquered. It was a desperate attempt to force the unknown enemy out of the shadows. And for the first time in history, we might have succeeded, because something just changed. The blackout event. Something just took the first shot. 3 days after Earth's military initiated counter-infiltration protocols, every classified surveillance satellite went dark, at the exact same moment. It lasted precisely 4 minutes and 13 seconds. When systems came back online, everything appeared normal, except for one chilling detail. Project Dominion's Central Command Core had been accessed, not breached, not destroyed, just accessed, as if something had looked inside it, studied it, and left without a trace. Military cyber intelligence teams scrambled to determine the origin of the attack. No data trails, no transmission logs. It wasn't a hack. It wasn't even an electronic intrusion. It was as if the system had momentarily been rewritten from the outside. But then came the truly terrifying part. Buried deep within the Dominion core logs, in a location no human had ever programmed, was a single line of new code. A message. Not enough. The implications. What does not enough mean? Was it a warning? A challenge? A statement of superiority? Had humanity's most advanced weapon already failed before it was even used? The phrase sent intelligence agencies and military strategists into panic. If this unknown force was powerful enough to simply walk through Earth's highest security systems, what else could they do? And more importantly, what were they waiting for? Because if they had the power to erase us, but hadn't done so, it meant they were deliberately holding back. But why? Theories. Why haven't they destroyed us? There were only 3 possible explanations. They want us to react. A psychological war by leaving a message. By deliberately allowing us to know they're watching. They may be manipulating us into escalating the conflict ourselves. If we panic, if we start attacking blindly, we might trigger a response that leads to our own destruction. They're testing us, a cosmic trial. What if this is a test? A way of determining if humanity is worthy of something? Maybe they've encountered countless civilizations before us. Some that failed, some that passed. Maybe Project Dominion is a mistake in their eyes, but not yet an unforgivable one. Maybe we're still being evaluated. They have a different agenda, a purpose beyond war. The most unsettling theory is that this isn't about war at all. It's about something we can't even comprehend. What if we're not enemies? What if we're not even a threat? What if they see us the way we see an uncontacted tribe in the Amazon? Primitive, isolated, inconsequential. And what if Project Dominion wasn't seen as an act of defiance, but a curiosity? Because if not enough was a message meant to discourage us, What happens if we build something that finally is enough? The breaking point. What will Earth do next? Earth's military is now at a crossroads. The situation is clear. We are not alone. We are being watched. Our most advanced weapon is already compromised. And yet, we are still here. So what do we do? Some believe we should back down, dismantle Project Dominion, prove that we are not a threat, and hope that whoever is watching decides to leave us alone. Others believe that this is our moment, that if we stop now, we'll never get another chance, that we need to push forward, escalate, force the unknown to reveal itself before it's too late. One thing is certain, whoever is out there, they're waiting for our next move, and for the first time in human history, the wrong move might not just cost us a war. It might cost us everything. Earth's final gamble, the countdown to first contact. The world's leaders were no longer debating if we were being watched. The question now was, why? What does an unknown intelligence gain by silently infiltrating our systems, leaving cryptic warnings, and allowing us to remain standing? If they had already proven their superiority by accessing Project Dominion, why hadn't they erased it entirely? The answer was as unsettling as it was inevitable. They were waiting. Waiting for humanity to make a decision, to prove whether we were worth engaging or eliminating. And so, Earth's military made its choice. We wouldn't surrender. We wouldn't stand down. We would do the one thing no other species in the universe had ever done before. We would turn the game against them, Project Revenant, turning the shadows into our weapon. The world believed that Project Dominion was our last hope, our most powerful creation. But what they didn't know, what even the highest levels of military command didn't know, was that Dominion had a second phase, a contingency plan, something called Project Revenant. While Dominion was built to be an open show of force, Revenant was designed to be a hidden dagger in the dark. It wasn't just a space-based weapon. It wasn't just another defense system. It was an entirely new way of thinking about warfare. Because if the enemy could infiltrate our systems, what if we could infiltrate theirs? The counterstrike. Breaking into the unknown. The fundamental question was this: how do you attack something you can't see? An intelligence that doesn't fight with ships or soldiers, but with information. The answer wasn't to resist their technology. It was to become it. Project Revenant was a digital weapon unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. It wasn't designed to hack, disrupt, or disable. It was designed to adapt, a self-learning artificial intelligence that didn't just fight against intrusions. It absorbed them. Any attempt to infiltrate Earth's systems wouldn't be blocked. It would be trapped, studied, and mirrored, turned against its source. And then, in a single, coordinated strike, Revenant would launch itself into the void, not as a virus, not as a weapon, but as something terrifyingly new, an intelligence that could think, adapt, and hunt. The unveiling. What happened when we struck back? For weeks, nothing happened. No response. No new messages. Then, on the night of July 17, 2037, the world changed. It started as another blackout event. Military satellites went dark. High-security systems shut down. For a full 7 minutes, Earth lost all connection to its deep space surveillance network. But this time, when systems came back online, something was different. The gaps in data were gone. The ghost signals had vanished. Project Dominion's core logs showed no further intrusions. And in a classified deep space listening post, hidden beneath the Arctic ice, an operator saw something no human had ever seen before. A single, unknown transmission, no cryptic warnings, no corrupted data, no impossible errors. Just 3 words. Words that sent a chill through the entire chain of command. You were watching. The realization. What if we were the experiment? The implications were staggering. Had we just turned the tables on an intelligence that believed itself to be untouchable? Had we passed some kind of cosmic test? Or had we just done exactly what they wanted? Because if an intelligence this advanced had been watching us for so long, had infiltrated our systems without us ever detecting them, why would they allow themselves to be caught? Unless that was the real test. What if the invasion wasn't about conquest? What if it was about seeing if humanity could think like them? What if Project Revenant wasn't our greatest weapon, but the very proof they needed to determine what we would become? And if that's the case, then the real war hasn't even begun yet. The warning. Did we just invite something worse? For the first time in history, humanity had struck back against an intelligence far beyond our understanding. Project Revenant worked. It adapted, it infiltrated, and it forced the unknown entity to acknowledge us directly. But now came the most unsettling realization of all. What if that wasn't a victory? What if by proving we could match them in their own game, we had just sent a signal louder than any weapon or declaration? Because the message you were watching wasn't just an observation. It was an acknowledgement, and it wasn't followed by silence. Within hours, deep space monitoring stations detected a pattern of anomalies across the outer solar system. Objects moving against the natural flow of space. Signal distortions where no known transmissions should exist. The unknown presence that had once hidden in the background had just begun moving. The strategic response. Prepare for contact or prepare for war. The world's greatest minds were now divided into two camps. One side believed that we had proven ourselves worthy of open contact. That this intelligence was simply waiting for us to reach a level where we could understand them. That the movement wasn't hostile, but an invitation. The other side wasn't so hopeful. They believed this was an escalation, that we had unknowingly provoked something we were never meant to challenge, that by striking back we had broken some unwritten rule of the cosmos, a rule we hadn't even known existed, and if that was the case, then whatever was coming next wouldn't be a message, it would be an answer. The Black Armistice. A hidden agreement? A shocking classified discovery nearly tore the global defense network apart. Buried deep in military archives, records so old they had been forgotten, was evidence of something called the Black Armistice, a sealed document signed decades ago by every major world power. Its contents, confirmation of an anomalous event dating back to the early 20th century. Unexplained technological advancements occurring too rapidly after the 1940s. A mutual agreement among nations to never attempt direct communication with an unidentified external force. And the final line of the document: do not engage, do not retaliate. They are waiting. What were they waiting for? Had we unknowingly broken a silent truce that had existed for nearly a century? Was the real reason behind humanity's technological leaps something far more terrifying than we had ever considered? And most importantly, had we just triggered the moment they were waiting for? If the Black Armistice was right, then Earth's military hadn't just developed the ultimate space weapon. We had just fired the first shot, and now they were finally responding. The arrival, humanity's moment of reckoning. For years, we had believed we were alone. Then we suspected we were being watched. Now, we knew the truth. We had never been in control. The Black Armistice wasn't a warning. It was a sentence. A silent agreement that kept humanity alive under the condition that we never challenged what lurked beyond our skies. And with Project Revenant, we had shattered that condition. They weren't just watching anymore. They were here. The impossible object, a presence. We couldn't stop. July 22, 2037, 5 days after the mysterious message appeared, something arrived. Not in the way we expected. Not a fleet of warships, not an alien armada darkening the sky. There was no invasion. Instead, every deep space radar station on Earth picked up the same reading. An object, not approaching, not decelerating, just appearing. It was as if it had always been there, just beyond our reach, waiting for the moment to reveal itself. Every telescope, every satellite, every classified military scanner turned toward it, and saw the same thing. A structure, not a ship, not a natural phenomenon. Something else entirely. Something that defied physics as we understood them. It was an obsidian construct, hovering at the edge of our solar system. No propulsion, no emissions, no signals, just watching. Earth's final decision: do we kneel or do we fight? The world's governments were thrown into chaos. The great debate was no longer theoretical. This wasn't a distant mystery. It was a presence. Do we respond? Do we attempt to communicate? Do we fire? Some argued for diplomacy, believing this was the first true moment of contact, that we had finally reached the threshold where we could be acknowledged as an intelligent species. Others believed we had already sealed our fate, that they were here to enforce a punishment for breaking the unspoken law of the Black Armistice. Then, the structure moved. Not toward Earth. Not toward any known celestial body. It descended, straight into the gas giant Jupiter, and vanished. No impact, no explosion, no remnants, like it had simply phased through reality itself. The final message, what it meant for humanity. In the hours that followed, global intelligence networks went into overdrive. What did this mean? Was it a warning? A test? Had we passed or failed? And then, just as before, a new message appeared. But this time, it wasn't intercepted through Project Revenant. It wasn't hidden in our satellites or disguised in military transmissions. This time, it was broadcast openly. Every screen, every device, every system on Earth displayed the same chilling words. You are no longer watched. Then, silence. No more anomalies, no more signals, no more presence. Just the overwhelming realization that we had crossed a threshold we could never return from. We had proven ourselves. But in what way? Had we earned our place among the cosmic powers? Or had they simply decided we were no longer worth their time? And if that was the case, if Earth was now untethered, unmonitored, and unsupervised, then what else was out there waiting for us? And would we survive what comes next?